I wanted to see if I could switch to Kobo.
Books and coffee, that's all I need. Lost in a world of fantasy. Oh, indeed, from sci-fi thrillers to romance tales and horror stories that make me wail.
Hi lovelies, and welcome to today's little installment on my channel. So today's video is going to be about Kindle versus Kobo, my experience. It is going to be from a non-tech perspective. So there are little tech things that I'm going to put in there for comparison's sake, but overall this is going to be the viewpoint of someone who is not technology minded in the slightest, and it's going to show.
Now push all that sadness deep down inside yourself, plaster on a smile, and let's crack on with Tuesday.
And I think I have an answer for you. So if you're interested in this topic at all, stick around and let's get into the video. As you can see, we have the two devices for this video side by side, so you can see the size comparisons. Obviously the Kobo is a little bit wider and it has the extra bit on the side with the buttons, which you don't get on the Kindle. Honestly, when it comes to holding the devices, both of them are pretty equal to me, although I do prefer using the stand and clicker with the Kindle, which I can't do with the Kobo because it's too wide for the stand that I have. It won't go wide enough to hold it, and the clicker doesn't work because it's buttons. But I'm sure there probably is a stand and clicker that I could get that works for this. If you have a Kobo colour and have a stand and clicker that works, then feel free to let me know in the comments below. That's really helpful. Editing Laura here, and I just want to add in here that also another plus point for the Kobo is that you can hold it from any angle. You can have the buttons on either side and it will just move the page so that you can still see it. So you can also have it so that it's the other way, so that the buttons are at the bottom. I haven't found that very comfortable, but I think some people probably would find that quite comfortable, and maybe it's handy when you're annotating. I didn't think of that until now, so maybe I'll try that next time. Okay.
The more you know.
Okay, so I also have the pen for the Kobo Libra Colour. I am an annotator. I do enjoy annotating books and writing notes. So the Kobo is a 32GB device memory. I have currently 36 books on this device. That includes audio books as well as e-reader books. It's a 7-inch screen. It's a colour e-ink screen, which, let me just turn it on. The button to turn it on is on the back. As you can see, it is pretty bright. Some of the colour will be lost through filming, but in reality it's pretty bright. This is a graphic novel, Suzume. Definitely recommend this book, by the way, both the novel version and the graphic audio. I also recommend the movie. It's awesome. But yeah, you can tap the screen like you do on a Kindle to turn the page if you want to, or you can use the buttons to go backwards and forwards. Even the black and white pages are more vivid in my opinion than on the Kindle, which I like. You can see that the covers are all in colour, if they're a colour cover to begin with. This one isn't, just because it is a NetGalley document rather than an actual book. So the Kobo can hold up to 24,000 ebooks, so I'm not going to run out of space anytime soon. And then when you listen to it, when you listen to an audio, if I click into an audio, obviously it looks like a normal audio player, but then when you click play, it will go to whatever Bluetooth devices that are paired with it. and that show up, so you can just decide which one you want. You can adjust the speed, although it only goes up to 2.75, which I know for some people that's still a little bit slow, but for me that's fine. And then you can adjust the volume, you can look at how long till the next chapter, how long left in the book, and how much you've listened to so far. And then you can view details, dictionary, find related books. If you enjoyed a book particularly and you want to find more in the same vein, you can do that, which I think is a really cool aspect. So another aspect I wanted to show you is the notebooks. I don't really use this very much so far. I have set up this notebook so you can go in and change the pen style, the pen size and the pen colour. Let's change it to green. Let's do fountain pen. Hermit loves you. You can also rub it out using the other end. And then you also have your eraser. You can choose to object eraser and brush eraser. So your brush eraser is basically like if you want to just do that. Your object eraser is more for, let me just do a little doodle. Obviously I have very little artistic ability here. But yeah, if I decided that I didn't want to, if I wanted to just erase that section, you can. You just tap on it. And then the brush eraser is more if you want to do that. You can change the page background. You can have a clear page. You can delete a page. You can refresh a page. You can export as well. So this is quite a nifty tool for if you are someone that always has their e-reader on them. You can use this for meetings, or if you just want to do a little bit of a quick note, you're out and about and you need to just send something quickly over to your partner or something. You know, there's lots of reasons that you could use this. I personally haven't used this. I've literally set this up to show you. And then here you've got all of your books in one section. You can filter them through different focuses and you can do them in different orders. You do have your authors section, so you can see all of the authors that you have on your device, and you can look at all of your series as well. And then you can make collections. So if you wanted to collect all of your indie titles together, you could do that. And then you just go through the list and you add them. The False Queen is indie, and then you just create. So then it will just list all of the books that you want to have in that collection. I'm just going to show you the annotating with this. So as you can see here, I've randomly annotated a couple of things. So we've got a highlight, we've got an underline, we've got brackets, and you can also do auto rotate, portrait and landscape, and lock them. So if you're someone that moves your Kobo around to write on it, that's a helpful tool to just lock it in place. You can also use font and line spacing. You've got your margins, justification. I've got justification off, and actually I'm going to turn margins up just because I like to have space to write in the margins. So I mean, again, obviously my writing is very scruffy, but that is just my writing. That's very true to what my writing looks like with a normal pen and paper. So that is the annotating on this. And this is the biggest reason, the annotating is the biggest reason that I ended up purchasing this when I did, and getting the pen as well. The other reason is because I wanted to try and come away from Amazon a little bit, and obviously Kindle is owned by Amazon. Kobo are a little bit friendlier to their authors as well, and pay them more appropriately than Kindle do. At the moment I don't pay for Kobo Plus, which does give you access to a lot of the ebooks plus the audios, but I was finding that I wasn't getting a lot of the titles that I wanted, that I was specifically looking for, so I didn't feel that it was worth it for me at the moment. But I will almost definitely sign back up again in the future, because this is still relatively new here, so I know that over time what is available on the Kobo device will increase and become better, but also I understand that Kindle have the monopoly in terms of, I know that if you sell a book on Kindle, if it's KU, you are not allowed to sell it anywhere else, so that obviously impacts other devices that have access to e-books. Let's skip over to the Kindle for a moment. As you can see here, the Kindle is not in colour. I know they have recently brought out a colour version, but I haven't seen good reviews of that at all, so I won't be purchasing one of them. I would rather skip over to Kobo, honestly, if I can. At the moment I will be staying with Kindle because I will be keeping both devices, for the simple fact that I use a lot of KU. I read a lot of KU books. I obviously can't get KU over here on the Kobo. I'm probably going to be using this where I can. If I can get it on Kobo and it's the same price or whatever, then I will be doing that. And I am slowly moving all of my net galleys over onto putting them onto Kobo, so I'm using this more often. Gradually I'm going to be switching over, ideally that's the goal. So with the annotating, you can technically annotate on here. You can't write, there's no pen device that works with this, but you can type, you can change the font, you can have it bold, and you can have the size changed, you can have the layout, you can make the margins bigger, which you don't, in my opinion, you don't need the margins bigger when you're not annotating, unless it's visually better for you to read. You can change the orientation and the alignment and the spacing, which the spacing I actually didn't realise I'd switch that back to the middle one. I do like to have the lines spaced wider because I'm dyslexic and it helps me read a little bit easier. You can show the clock while you're reading. You can have the book mentions, popular highlights, which actually I'm going to turn off because I get distracted by that feature. But you can also highlight, so you hold down on a word, move the, it is obviously much slower. This moves a little bit quicker than the Kindle does. Have no idea why. There's no reason that I can tell that they haven't made it move quicker. You can't change the colour or anything like that. But then if you wanted to write something with it, you can add a note. Half an hour later, it will show you the actual word, and then you just click save. So yeah, there is that option. I very rarely use this option. If I'm going to annotate, before I had the Kobo, if I'm going to annotate, I will have a physical copy of the book and use my highlighters and pens or pencils, whatever, my tabs, whatever I'm in the mood for. And then on here you've got your store, which is the same as Discover on the Kobo, and this is where you can find any new books that you might need. You can find your KU books, you can find any deals and special offers. So really that's my overall thoughts on the two items. If I was the reason why I've done this video at this time is because I know coming up to Christmas a lot of people may ask for one of these devices for Christmas. You may be thinking about getting one for yourself in the January sales. So I figured it might come in handy to have the opinion of someone who is not technology minded to go over my thoughts, having used both devices for at least 6 months now. But yeah, I do enjoy both devices, and yeah, I can't switch over fully now, so I will be keeping both. But if I didn't have either of these devices and I was looking at buying one of these devices, I would just go straight for this, because I think if you haven't got used to using KU, you won't miss it. But because I'm used to it already and I use it a lot, there's a lot of book clubs that I'm part of that often choose books are on KU. Another little quick note would be the battery life. I find that both are pretty good. They both last really well. The Kobo is slightly better in my opinion, but I do think that maybe I've ended up with a dud with the Kindle, because I don't think this lasts as long as my last Kindle lasted. So I don't know if it's just I've ended up with just a random device that doesn't last as long. But even with that in mind, it still lasts really well. It's on 50% and I haven't charged it. It's at least 2 weeks since I last charged this.
Stop lying.
Device. Both devices take about the same amount of time to charge. If there's any questions that you have, feel free to pop them in the comments below. If I know the answers, or at least have a perspective on that question, I'm happy to answer anything that you can think of. I think that's it for the show and tell portion of this video. That's that. Okay, so that's the Kindle versus Kobo experience that I've had so far. So I think this means that I'm stuck with both of these devices for quite some time. Obviously, from the standpoint of someone who is trying to make better choices overall, the Kobo is the way to go. If you haven't got an e-reader yet and you're interested in getting one, this is the one that I recommend. I do recommend the pen as well, but only if you're an annotator or someone who likes to write little notes in the margins or anything like that. If you're not someone who annotates, then this isn't necessary at all. I did get this direct from Kobo itself, and it was, I think, about £80 GBP. So, but it seems to be working and lasting so far. So in my viewpoint, it is worth it. But I have heard that you can get cheaper sort of versions of this pen and they will work just as well. So it's entirely up to you. If you have stuck around this long, feel free to chat in the comments below. If you're not feeling particularly chatty, leave me a computer emoji, because I don't think there's an e-reader emoji. So we'll go with a computer emoji. With that, thank you so much for hanging around with me today. And yeah, love you, bye.
Bye, love you.
Hi and welcome. Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's Book and Annie. No, not Book and Annie. Calm down, it's fine. Christmas.
I'm a book hermit, part of the booktube crew, sharing my thoughts, connecting me and you. With every page a new adventure awaits, a community bound by the love we create.